Welcome to the Hardcat Core 99 series. In this episode, we're going to look at how to complete an export from Hardcat. To export data from Hardcat, we can do that in two main areas, either from our asset grid via lists assets, our asset icon, or we can do it based on our export area for each entity. Under File, Export, Assets, Cost Centers, Locations, People, Suppliers, Regions, or Administration. Today, we're going to look at exporting asset information. To do this, we'll do it via the asset grid. To access our export definitions, we can click on the export label just above the exports dropdown. Here, we have a list of all the pre-existing definitions in the system where we can edit or we can create a new one. Today, we'll create a new export. When we create a new export definition, we can assign a name to the definition. We can choose which table of data from Hardcat we want to export from. From the assets area, we can get access to additional costs, the asset attachment function, asset units to be able to upload and export units, import files into the system, export out asset history, import or export asset more details, more text details, import or export preset responses, import segments if using mapping functionality, as well as exporting out unit history information. Today, we're going to be exporting from the assets area. As we've seen in the Hardcat grid screen, as well as our custom report, we can apply a preset class if we desire by selecting preset class and choosing the preset class which has the questions that you need. Today, we're going to create an export definition which contains basic asset information such as asset code, asset description, which is asset name, the barcode, the location name, the purchase price, purchase date, and the asset type code. Also, with our import-export definitions, you've made a notice on the left-hand side on the All Fields area. We have red fields and we have black fields. When we're completing an export from Hardcat, you can add either red fields or black fields to the definition, and that will then export the data out to Excel. If we're importing data into the assets table, we only can import fields that are colored black, as these fields exist directly on the assets table in the database. Other fields such as asset type name or cost center name, for example, don't exist on this table. They exist on the table that contains the entity information for cost centers and asset types. Another important thing when we're completing exports from Hardcat is to tick the column titles tick box, as this will provide the column titles in the first row when exporting out to Excel, thus creating a much easier way to view the data in Excel. The other benefit as well is that this ability of using column titles makes the data in a perfect format for using the pivot table functionality in Excel. First of all, I'll give my export definition a name, and then I'll save my export definition. To complete an export, we can do it on this screen by clicking the export button, but by doing it here, it is always based around the scope of our export. If we select all of Hardcat, that's going to export out all 137 records in Hardcat. If I was to do results of last search, it will display whatever search result that we completed last, so it will do 137 records. Or we could have had predefined searches in the system and we could run this search against that. Today, we'll do all of Hardcat. So today, I'll select Export and select Asset Details and go Save. This has created a file for us on our desktop for us to now open. And here's the data in Excel.